Hi everyone, Rebecca Ryan here from Stir the Pot Cooking Supplies. Today I thought I would do a video about the controversial topic of decarboxylating cannabis prior to cooking with it. By far, the topic of decarboxylation has been my most popular video topic to date. And so we're going to tackle it yet again using an appliance that has become very popular in a lot of households in North America. And that is using an Instant Pot to decarboxylate pot. Okay, so what is decarboxylation exactly? It is a chemical reaction that occurs when we add heat to raw cannabis. So in front of me here is some raw cannabis that I grew in this summer season, so 2018. Cannabis actually takes about 4 months to grow and then another 6 weeks to dry properly and cure. So when you're producing medicine yourself, you've got at least 5 months invested in the process from start to finish. And because of this, we would want to take extra care to be able to pull out the most medicine that we can from our plant material, because it takes a long time to produce it, and if you're not producing it yourself, you're buying it, and it can be very expensive. 30 grams of cannabis at an entry-level cost runs about 300 Canadian dollars. Today. So what we want to do is make sure that we're getting the most out of our plant material that we can. So when we prepare cannabis to actually cook with it, we need to heat it in advance and change it from its raw form, which is THCA in the case of THC, and we're transforming it by using time and heat into another molecule, and that other molecule is known as 9-THC. So once we have achieved 9-THC and we bake that or cook with that in a recipe, that then is activated further by your body once you ingest it. So once you ingest it and your liver gets finished with it, it converts to 11-THC, and 11-THC is 10 times stronger than 9-THC. So that's very important when we're using this plant medicinally to treat symptoms and conditions and deficiencies that people have. You want to produce the most potent form of the medicine that you can. Decarboxylation is a pretty dry topic, folks. So I'm going to show you decarboxylation happening in its finest form through my rig. Here we go. Are you ready? There you go, decarboxylation in its finest form. Now we're going to move on to pressure cooking to decarboxylate. Okay, I've just got to get this off my chest before we go any further. Lots of people ask me, what is my preferred vessel of choice when I pressure cook cannabis? So I prefer to use a lockable stainless steel bowl. This particular one is from a company called Onyx. They're Canadian, but I do believe the bowls are manufactured in Korea. Very good quality, and they are typically used for storing cannabis long term. Everybody says to me, Rebecca, what about just using a mason jar? Everybody pressure cooks fruit and vegetables in mason jars and nothing happens. And to this I say, Lots of mason jars are old. You don't know what the structural integrity is. And I've just spent 5 months getting this to this stage. So if this breaks and ruins this, you can bet that I'm going to be hostile about that. So then people say, well, what about the tempered glass sealer jars? And again, I would say, well, marginally better, but are you going to risk 5 months of growing time to glass that could put glass everywhere through your cannabis, and then you got to throw it out because it won't be safe to use? So stainless steel, no breaking. All right, enough of the lecture. You get it. You got to be careful, and if you're going to risk, then you're going to risk, and that's just it. It's a risk. So what we're going to do is load 30 grams of cannabis into the stainless steel vessel. Here we go. And I've cut a little piece. This is about approximately 4 inches, and it's a nylon twine. You can use any twine, but basically we're going to just put it over the lip of the bowl, and I'm going to seal the container over top. And the reason we're going to do that is because the lid actually has a silicone gasket, and that silicone gasket really seals the vessel tightly. Just before I forget here, I'm going to take one of these big buds and just place it on top of the other cannabis. And what that will do is give us a comparison so that you can see what decarboxylated cannabis looks like compared to regular dried cannabis. There is a color difference. So generally what happens is the buds will get a toasted golden color, not unlike toasted coconut or toasted sesame seeds. So there you have it, completely sealed, and there's the little piece of twine that's giving a little bit of an air gap. And again, the reason for the air gap is that because we're using pressure to regulate the heat in the pressure cooker, when we cool this, it will actually vacuum the lid down, suction the lid to the vessel, and make it very difficult to pry it off. So if you use a little piece of string like that, it'll be really easy to take the top of the lid off, and you won't have to pry it. So what's going to happen now is we're going to put the trivet in the bottom of the pot, and this is designed to act like a little basket, so it will help to remove the onyx bowl when we're finished. And what I'm going to do now is just put 2 cups of water in this. So 2 cups of water. Then we're going to put the onyx stainless steel bowl in there, and then the lid on. Okay. And now we're going to select pressure, and the time is 40 minutes. And there's no delay, and we're going to turn the keep warm function off. And now I'm going to hit start, and that's going to start the process of heating up and getting the internal temperature correct, and then it will pressure cook the cannabis for 40 minutes. Now, I'm talking about warming up and getting to the right temperature. This is really important, and Instant Pot has 3 main models. They have the Dual, the Luxe, and the Ultra. This is an Ultra, and the Dual and the Luxe, as well as the Ultra, have internal pressure per square inch at their highest setting will run from 10.2 psi to 11.6 psi. So when we convert that pressure per square inch into temperature, that produces a temperature range of 239 degrees Fahrenheit to 244 degrees Fahrenheit. THCA decarboxylates in a range between 230 degrees Fahrenheit and 250 degrees Fahrenheit. So, Instant Pot models will work to decarboxylate THCA and activate it into 9-THC. I need to be very clear though, folks, Instant Pots do not get currently to a high enough temperature to decarboxylate CBDA properly. So if you are using CBDA and are after its active form, CBD, you will not be able to successfully decarboxylate using an Instant Pot. For that, I would recommend baking it in an oven in a covered casserole dish, and it needs to be baked at 295 degrees Fahrenheit for 90 minutes. To fully activate CBD, it does take longer than THC. So once 40 minutes is completed, I'll come back, we'll open up the Instant Pot, and I'll show you the difference between the decarboxylated cannabis and the raw cannabis. Okay, so we're at the 22-minute mark, almost halfway through the decarboxylation process, and I wanted to just interject here that there's absolutely no smell coming out of this Instant Pot, and by far this is the most unintrusive way to decarboxylate cannabis if you're concerned about filling up your house with the smell of cannabis. The Instant Pot has done a really good job with their temperature and pressure regulator inside, and there's actually a bit of a buffer built in so that we don't have any steam escaping at regular intervals from this particular pressure cooker. If we were talking about a pressure cooker that you would use on the stove top, that is regulated by a weight that sits on top of it, and you regularly have steam escaping from it. And because of that, it does put the smell of cannabis throughout your house. So does the baking method in your oven. So the Instant Pot has a leg up on many other decarboxylation methods in that it will contain the smell of the cannabis for you. Now, when you go to release the pressure and cool the apparatus, you're going to have steam. Sorry, that scared me. You're going to have steam come out here, so you got to be really careful there. You could theoretically unplug the unit, walk it right outside, release the pressure outside or in your garage so you don't have the smell going through your house or your apartment. Hi. Magically, all 40 minutes have elapsed now, and I'm going to release the pressure from the Instant Pot and remove our decarboxylated cannabis. So, before I do that, I just want to point out a few safety issues. The release button that's going to let the steam fly out of this apparatus, and it's going to come very quickly with a lot of force. You don't want to have your hands anywhere near this. It's dangerous, so we're just going to press it down real quick, and you can see the release. It's time for the decarboxylation reveal, and I'm just going to take the lid off of this onyx bowl so you can see what the decarboxylated cannabis looks like in comparison to its raw sister. So this is going to be quite dramatic. On the right hand side is the raw cannabis, THCA, and here we have activated cannabis, 9-THC. So you can see how toasted and golden this is. You know you've got a good decarboxylation process when you can see this color difference. So there you go, decarboxylation in an Instant Pot. It can be done. Now, stay tuned because in my next video, I'm going to show you how to make a 50 cloner unit using a couple of totes, an aquarium pump, maybe some hoses. Join me next time.